really make a point that 9Z victory was no fluke.
And what's the best map to go to when you absolutely want a brawl ace? It's Coastline. It's Coastline. You're not going to see tons of strategic play. It does happen from time to time on Coastline. What you are going to see is you're going to see a lot of gunfights and a lot of insane shots happening. You're going to see a brawl.
Honestly, I feel like we just need somebody flicking a light switch on and off, shouting fight, Fresh. That's what we need for this one.
Could be a little ring announcer as well. Just, yeah. Anyway, we see the Valk ban coming in, which is honestly no surprise. Black Dragon's choosing to get rid of that. And I think it did really come to their undoing in the last map on Clubhouse. Obviously, they are playing straight back to back here. There's no break for them. First best of one, straight into the second best of one, which Furious will be doing in the next game as well. So teams are staggered on their best of ones where they play 2 back to back and then 1 later on in the day.
So we're going to be heading in then towards round 1. We are racing towards this matchup. Our bans are finished. Finker Thatcher, Valkyrie and Kaid will not be present throughout this matchup. Everybody else is fair game. We see Ion straight onto the Iana there. So I think maybe not having too much of an impact. As you said, Fresh, generally those entry players now, they're just going to switch straight across.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a meaningless ban, but also there's not a lot that you can ban on Coastline that really makes sense attacking-wise because of just the variation of the attack. The one potential ban that I do like on Coastline, and it depends on the way that you want to defend, is if you ban Maverick, because you can then try and play Penthouse and play the VIP wall with the Cade trick. As it is, Cade's been taken off the board as well, so that also would have been irrelevant. So I think it's just a free ban and it's a comfort ban. But we will see Ion, as you say, he does go straight onto the Iana.
Players to keep an eye on then. Obviously, we saw Perez having some big moments last time around for Black Dragons. There's a lot of focus towards Ion and Live, of course, with the experience they bring of once a FaZe clan, of course, now with Black Dragons. But Perez, definitely one to keep an eye on. On the other side, Furious gaming names you might not be too familiar with, but VJ and Shoxo tend to be their highest rated. They're going to be the big boys to watch out for here on Coastline to see if they can spoil the vacation of Black Dragons.
Shoxo actually, during his regional league, got 5 1vx's.
Yep.
5. So he's a big clutch player as well. So he's not in any of these scenarios. He can come up, he can make a play. Like you say, one of the highest rated players, in the league and in his team as well.
Certainly one to watch. Now then, we've got Live heading in on the drones. He's just going to be feeding that information in. Shoxo going to take that out momentarily. He's going to hold on to that position in security, or may he give it up and just drop back to main lobby? We'll see as the round progresses. It's going to be a round 1 defense of Kitchen for Furious. Interestingly, they haven't taken Hooker and Billiards to begin with. They've headed down to the bottom floor, so it's going to be about holding on to a little bit of top floor for as long as possible to avoid too much pressure too early in the round, which was something that we saw Black Dragons actually sort of failing on in their last match, Fresh. That was something that they didn't do fantastically well. They gave up too much map control early and they did suffer for it. So let's see if they can learn from that and on the attack take advantage of that technique.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see the way that, as we will see, so he swings one and the refrag comes out from Perez. My point was that interesting on Coastline, what you now see on the Kitchen site is teams go for a horizontal approach due to the way that the site's changed and the VIP wall. Teams now like to defend horizontally, hold on to this lobby security area, and then try and deny the plant because the bomb site was shifted from the service entrance. It was shifted inwards. So you don't tend to see teams going top floor, and that's exactly what we're seeing out of Black Dragons here. They're just going horizontally across.
They're losing lives as they try to go horizontally. Live losing. Now look at this, Fiji. I told you to watch for him, and it didn't take long for him to deliver. Straight out the window, takes his man down. It's 3 versus 2, as Black Dragons are doing a good job of keeping themselves in touch at least. They're managing to find kills along the way, just to prevent that sort of numbers getting out of hand and away from them. VJ low health, just looking to peek out a service door. Maybe needs to just temper his aggression here, now that he's lost some hit points. But Wets gets in and does a job, finds Perez. 1 versus 2 now for Basetto, trying to find anything from the service door just to try and get something going here in round 1 for Black Dragons. Having lost the last game, the last thing they want is to be finding themselves too far behind here. Now pushes deep into sight. He knows there's a man inside a kitchen, but he doesn't know where the other is. VJ is on that bathroom door from main lobby. He's going to shut the man down, and that's going to be round number 1 going to Furious.
Already very good signs coming out of EJ. in terms of the way that he can control his aggression. He's jumped out of the penthouse window. He's gotten a kill. He's gotten back into sight. But when he needs to wait for his teammate to back him up in a crossfire, that is exactly what he did. He waited, allowed the Vigil to get back in position, and then the crossfire just ensued, got the kills, won the round. Lovely defensive play from... Yeah, they made a statement of intent. Shoxo made a statement of intent of, I'm not going to lose my ground. I'm not going to be pushed out. I will fight for it. Gets himself a kill, gets refragged. You know, the same with VJ is that they're going to make plays. They're not just going to wait for Black Dragons to assume the attack. They're not going to test the executes of Black Dragons. They want to be as disruptive as possible, as early as possible. And one thing they've done here is they've actually gone to what would be considered now a complete offsite on Coastline. We see this site so rarely because you normally see in hookah billiards, as you alluded to in round one. Kitchen service would be a secondary. And then Penthouse has rose back in popularity due to the VIP wall changes. So now to see double bar coming out, it's almost strange. I've not seen a double bar come out in a while.
No, absolutely not. We will see how it progresses. Two main attacks, usually. The two default plant spots are to the right-hand side of your screen, behind the blue bar there, in behind the office wall. Thank you, Marcio. And the other one would be inside of the sunrise entrance. He knows where I'm going, you see. Bottom left of your screen, it's going to be just inside of that entrance. And generally, you will see all attackers thrown at one direction. You don't tend to see some in office, some in sunrise. It tends to be a sort of collaborative effort to try and bust through that utility, open the wall if you're going on the office side, burn through laser gates and reinforcements if you're trying to get yourself through the sunrise side, and then try and get in and get that diffuser down whilst you've got the cover in place.
Could be quick here.
For the time being, it looks like Black Dragons, are going to be pushing towards the sunrise plant spot.
They are, and it looks like they're potentially going to go quick because we're seeing Ayana, we're seeing them. There's nobody inside. There's only the one smoke behind the surface. Yeah.
Yeko doing work there. VJ gets the opener onto Perez, and that starts slowing things down. Dirty does him dirty as he jumps out of the window there on the kitchen, man. Closes down live, finds ourselves now in a 5 versus 2. How has this happened, Fresh? Black Dragons, they were going into sight. They were confident. They were 5 versus 1 inside of sight. And all of a sudden, it's a flawless round. They don't even find themselves one kill. Furious. Look furious. They look terrifying right now.
There needed to be much more conviction to that rush because it was on. And we spotted it. We saw the smoke was the only one inside a sofa. Why there wasn't 5 Black Dragons players just flooding the sunrise bar there? Even if you trade 2 for 1 on the smoke, even if the smoke gets 2 of you and you kill him, you have full site control. But no, you see a sledge here by kitchen window. You see another kills coming down, allowing the defenders to retake sunrise bar. There's still players outside at that point. The idea of the rush was right. The execution of it was all wrong. And it speaks probably to the mental, to be honest. It speaks to a lack of trust and a lack of, is this the right play? Rather than a team that's playing well, that has a lot of confidence and trust in each other, just goes for that. They just get it. Whereas BD, they kind of just stopped. They kind of, oh, this is on, boys. And 1 or 2 people went in and the rest kind of just held. I wanted to see them all get in, take sunrise. And if they'd have done that, they'd have probably won the round.
I'd agree. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about Black Dragons right now and just exactly how this is going to play out. I'm not singling the man out, but I'm just going to use Bassetto as an example there, Fresh. He was the Hibana that was stood on the couch's default plant spot.
Yep.
He looked like he was in absolute no man's land. He looked like a fish out of water. He was sat there. VJ pops up from behind the bar, has a little look. No challenge made onto him. Dips back down, comes back up for a challenge, gets the kill. And all the time, Bassetto just sat there, looking in towards double door and bar. It was like he didn't know what was going on. He looked shell-shocked. Shell-shocked is furious right now, though, as within the first 15 seconds, Live manages to get an opener. And maybe that's what Black Dragons need here. It's just a fire lit under them.
Yeah, they need to wake up because, you know, we said about how this competition can go away from them. This game is starting to go away from them already. 0-2 on a coastline attack is just not where you want to be. They need to wake up. They need to get the kills. Live's done that. He's got himself into sunrise. He got a player playing kitchen. The next pot of call for him is probably VJ on the Oryx because we know how fluidly Oryx can move. He has the dash. He can just run through walls. He can go patches. He's probably going to look for a very late trade / a spot of redemption here.
That's it, and we've already seen how dangerous he can be. He finds himself on 4 frags so far, leading his team more than double anybody else on his side inside of the first 2 rounds, and really powering Furious towards the position that they find themselves in. But Black Dragons just settling into this round a little better than I think they have in previous ones. They've got themselves the opener, they've got themselves the breach onto the double VIP wall now, so that prevents any presence inside of VIP from the defenders. We are attacking, of course, onto Penthouse and Theatre. So once they get that VIP control, they can start working the double window, they can work the bathroom as they are doing, Hall of Fame is theirs, and they can think about getting in there and getting a diffuser plant down.
The bathroom walls are reinforced, which just allows Live to play here for free. It allows Basetto to push to the default plant location. This plant, unless there is a C4 coming out, will most likely go down, even though Basetto's going to get smoked. Oh no, last second. He just stops it last second. That's all smokes expended though, as Ion does find one back onto BJ.
Absolutely unreal play from the smoke there, just managing to catch him in the nick of time. There must have been an absolute fraction of a second left on that, but it's not going to matter as Black Dragons continue to push in. Live Protoxy finding kills 1v4. It's all up to Dirty, and he is miles out of position here. Fresh Live has recovered that down diffuser, starts to make the plant, and there's going to be nothing to stop him this time apart from Ion closing the round out with a kill onto Dirty. And Black Dragons look like they've woken up inside of round 3, but let's just hope that that snooze they had in round 1 and 2 doesn't do them too much damage then.
A nice attack from Black Dragons, and I'm a bit cautious of the defense, I would say, in terms of the setup there. The reinforcements onto bathroom just allows people to play bathroom for free. The lack of investment in VIP there. If I'm Furious, I'm going back to the drawing board and redoing my strat on that. They seem very reluctant to go across to hookah billiards as well. However, the first 2 sites that they won convincingly. I stay reluctant to go across to hookah billiards. Who am I to know? Because of course that is the 4th site. We're not just seeing a free site rotation. We're seeing all 4 sites being rotated through by Furious here.
I mean, it is one of the beauties of Coastline. You know, obviously, we talk about it being one of the sort of less strategic maps. It's more about the gunfights. But on the flip side, it is one of the maps that we see. You know, I maybe wouldn't even count Villa into the ranks of having 4 viable bomb sites. We occasionally see Living Room Library on Villa, but it's still quite rare. Whereas Coastline, teams very generally happy to go anywhere that they feel that they need to. So this one's going to be hookah billiards up on the top floor this time around. For me, Black Dragons need to do more of the same, Fresh. They need to get in. Once they got that opening kill from Live, you just seem to see them grow into the round. You know, I was literally saying, right, that now opens them up to get Bathroom Hall of Fame and get a plant, and Basetto's charging in. They've already done it. You know, they as soon as they got a sniff of that opportunity, they were straight in, and I think they need a little bit more of that.
Yeah, they took completely what was given to them. On hookah billiards here, what you will see is that there's people around Blue Bar. Furious are basically going for a whole map extension here. You've got Blue Bar, Sunrise type players. You've got people playing Penthouse, Luggage, Aqua. So it's really on Black Dragons to determine what they want and which side they want to go for. The most common what you will see is office control, Blue Bar control, and then you go for a plant holding Aqua Luggage, and you try and plant behind the bomb chassis next to the billiards table. And that's the most simplest plant you can do on Coastline, and it's one I'd like to see Black Dragons do. They've got Nomad for the flank, they've got presence below, so it should be a nice straightforward take for them.
That's it. They've got the skill, they've got the ability in the players. They don't need to overcomplicate things here. They can do the basics very well and no doubt come away with rounds. And, you know, we may well see that as Ion's got himself established inside of Aquarium already. We've got Basetto there with diffuser in hand as well. And he's going to go in for a quick plant here, Fresh. They're doing it again. We saw this confidence. I said that I wanted to see more of it. We've got Ion on the cover there. He's preventing the push onto the planter. Will be successful this time. Basetto does lose his life, but not quickly enough for Furious. They managed it last time, but not this. 4 versus 3 now. Big advantage for Black Dragons here because they've also got Perez outside of the double window by the looks of things, out on Ruins as well. Or maybe he's out on the... No, he's not on Hooker Deck. He's out on Ruins. So this is well covered. Dirty is going to be last man alive. Nice. Cut down by Live. Easy as that for Black Dragons. You asked, they delivered, Fresh.
And that's exactly what I wanted to see from a team that is, you know, has been in the Brazilian Pro League for a long time, that has got much more experience. They identified what was given to them. Office was given to them for free. Blue Bar, more or less, was given to them for free. Aqua was given to them for free. Why not just walk in and take the plant? One slight criticism there is that I might have had a double window player playing on that window if I was the attackers. They didn't. They still managed to make it work with the sledge playing on hookah balcony. Almost textbook attack from them. It came out, and it came out quickly, and it came out with conviction. To go for a plant with, just over a minute gone in the round, it takes some confidence, and that's exactly what we saw out of Pastetto there.
Great play from Black Dragons. Then we're going to be going back to the same site, which is quite interesting because Furious almost reluctant, really. Didn't play it in the first 3 rounds. It seemed like they were reluctant to go to Hooker and Billiards, and now we're going to double down and they're going to try and defend it again when, to be honest, I think it's probably been the weakest site that we've seen from them so far. Black Dragons able, as you say, to execute a 3-point take almost very, very quickly there. It was just, we've got the control we need, we've cleared the utility we need to, which isn't very much, and we're going to go in and get the plant down, and it was just very quickly done. So, what are Furious going to bring to the table that's going to be different here? And for me, Fresh, I don't know if you'd agree, they need to hold on to Office and Blue Bar for longer. They can't allow Black Dragons to feel safe from underneath. They need to be down there. They need to know that there's a threat from underneath.
And that's exactly what the adaptation needed to be. We saw them put some presence, kind of sunrise bar, kitchen area. If they just give the same kind of corner of the map that they gave Black Dragons will happily just take it again. So they have to fight for either Aqua or Office Blue Bar. Now, Aqua is so much harder to fight for, so I would expect that this Office Blue Bar would be the natural adaptation you would expect coming out of them, and then therefore at least kill some members of Black Dragons to give a hole in the attack. Because once you've got a couple of kills, there are certain angles that can't be watched on that attack, which you can then exploit, whether that's swinging, there's no double window player, no aqua cover, whatever it is, you can exploit whatever the attackers aren't holding.
Black Dragons certainly playing slower here in round 5 than they did in round 4. Wets is going to need clearing out of Sunrise, and that is the job that is being undertaken at the moment. We can see the Hibana just breaching the wall from Blue Bar there, just preventing him playing in behind that wall. That's going to allow one man to aggress in from pool entrance, but Wets has gone back in here. The drone will see him. Could find himself in a very sticky situation, but manages to do a bit of damage to Ion. Can't lock the kill down, and despite the damage, Ion gets in and manages to find one of his own onto Wets. That is a good entry from Black Dragons. 5 versus 4, not even halfway through the round yet, and they're starting to take that lower floor control, but VJ is still down there on the Oryx.
It's VJ and Dirty that they're looking at potentially getting a little bit fraggy to try and retake this bottom floor, because if they retake the bottom floor, they can hold the plant from below. They know a player's playing in Sunrise. They've got these slight little punch holes, and VJ was also potentially thinking about going out of the blue window on the double window player. Plenty of options, but they need to find a couple of kills back.
Certainly do need to be leveling things up, but time is being wasted. That is a good start, and VJ not been moved along yet. A lot of utility flying in as well. He knows there's a man on the rappel. He wants it again. We've seen him go out of these windows already, but he's not too keen this time around. Ion loses his life. VJ just uses the Oryx dash to get safely past Sunrise door, and that is nice play from the Oryx. He's burnt them down to 50 seconds. He's got himself a kill. He's now low health, and he's looking to just change up the way that he's playing a little bit. He's dead as he gets shot in the back door. Patoxy finding him through the rotation. 4 versus 3, 40 seconds. Black Dragons need to think about getting moving.
And they're actually going for hookah side take here, so Sunrise is of utmost importance. And that is a huge kill by Yeko there. Gets rid of the guy coming up cool vibes. Pastetto moves in, gets a double kill, and then Perez cleans up. Wow. I was going to say the cool vibes player dying means the defenders can front it up, but Pastetto just said no. Walks in, gets 2 kills. What a play there.
I'm not sure how Pastetto gets away with that, to be honest. No. It looked like he was just about to go in for a reload, and the Jaeger challenges him and then gets absolutely deleted on the hooker door. So we're going to be moving into round 6, and it feels like we've got there very quickly, Fresh. Some of these rounds really spinning around quickly, as Black Dragons have quite often taken the opportunity to just get in and get the job done. I think that's probably the longest round that we've seen as of yet from them, to be honest, going into that final 30 seconds. But that now leaves them 3-2. They did, of course, lose round 1 and 2, so they've managed to completely swing it around, and they're looking for that 4-2 split that we would kind of expect from the attackers on coastline. But it's I don't think it's just an attacker-defender difference here. It does feel, after those first 2 rounds, like Black Dragons have been sort of considerably superior to Furious in the strategy that they've played with, but also in the gunfights as well. And I think Furious are going to be struggling if things don't change.
I think Black Dragons got caught out by a couple of offsites that you wouldn't necessarily expect, because you more or less, when you load into coastline as an attacker, you're expecting to go to hookah, then you're expecting to go to kitchen. So to then adapt in round 1 to go to kitchen and then in round 2 to go to double bar, it caught them off. They've steadied themselves, they've actually thought about what they wanted to do, and they've executed nearly flawlessly on every attack since. It feels like they're in complete control of this attack now. I'd expect to see them get another one on the board here and then go into quite a solid defensive half. And it just shows how things can switch so quickly in Siege in terms of momentum.
Well, Black Dragon's showing us why they are a solid coastline team. The thing is, inside of the VR6 Fresh, I can tell you 100% you've got to be a good coastline team because otherwise you just won't survive. It's as simple as that. They will go and play there for fun. And Black Dragon's showing us that they've got, you know, that experience of playing against the best on this map. And they're also good at picking up their wins. We can see a challenge there. Perez just looking to find the man up the hatch. Wets, he manages to get himself out of danger. Just slides away from that one, but it was a close run. Shoxo, however, at the same time, he's not going to have any success inside the main lobby. If you remember last time, Fresh, he was able to challenge on that close angle into security and get the opening kill. Absolutely not this time. Black Dragon's having none of it, and that is just showing Furious. You cannot just rinse and repeat against a team like this.
And that's exactly, it's a nice adaptation as well. They naded the mirror out from the position rather than fronting him up with 2 people. They've now got Live swinging, or not swinging the main door, holding the main door. So they're using their utility to try and get rid of Shoxo. But where there's not a Shoxo, there is a VJ who swings the lobby door and gets rid of Live.
Gives him a bit of shock and awe and manages to get the opener, but does find himself down. Perez and Bassetto, once again, how many times have we been saying them names here on Coastline? Get themselves one apiece and swing it back into their team's favour. 4 versus 3 now, and Furious find themselves trying to hold on to the kitchen, just trying to see what they can cook up here, Fresh. They're over halfway. They've at least got that in their favour, but 1 minute 10 is a long time to survive here. They've got one man up on the top floor. Wets hasn't been shut down yet on the vigil, and he could prove to be a real nuisance here.
He could as well, because there's 2 players in sight. Yeah, Black Dragons, they've got the man advantage. They've got, you know, they've wasted 2 minutes to get there. It's all about Wets now and how Wets plays this. If he manages to find a kill, if he manages to, he can kill the planters. If he goes back above VIP hall, you see there's the holes already there for double window. Presumably there's holes there for kitchen door as well. And it's on Wets about how he can delay time to then deal with the plant denial. As I say that, it looks like he's probably going to drop courtyard. Yeah, he's just going to give it up, which could be a mistake. Although, if the attackers are going to start pushing up to try and clear him, it could be 200 IQ as well, Tim.
This is it. He could waste 20 seconds without ever being present. He's just going to play himself on top of the... There you go. He gets himself the kill from the top of the pagoda again. Manages to find Perez. 3 versus 3 now. Things level up, and all of a sudden, Furious looking like they might just be able to cling on. Yeko finds Bassetto, and Black Dragons have run out of ideas. Patoxy goes in. He's trying to brute force, and Ion joins in the party. Finds 1v1. 5 seconds left to go. Ion does not have the diffuser, though, and he does not have the hit points to survive as Wets finds that kill. Furious take the round, and we're on a 3-3 split.
That's a good defensive round there. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure about the rotation back down, but he manages to find one. When Wets found one there, it allowed the smoke to swing, get a kill, and suddenly the advantage is straight back in Furious Gaming's favour. Good way to see it out. It came down to 1v1 there. He obviously lost the one with Ion there. But good round all round for Furious. And I think somewhat they'll be a bit frustrated with themselves that they've not taken more defensive rounds, but also they're not going to complain at a 3-3 split on the defensive half of Coastline.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, round 3 to 5, you feel like there was some opportunities for Furious there, or at least they could have made it more difficult for Black Dragons. The attacking rounds that Black Dragons won were pretty convincing, but Furious able to turn it around, lock it out at 3-3. Interestingly, on paper, it's been pretty close. In terms of the entry, it's 3-3. Furious have got 3 entry kills, as have Black Dragons. You know, there's nowhere where Black Dragons are necessarily completely running away with things, but you just get the feel that they have been on top of things, that they have, when they've won very, very well. So now the question is, can Furious do the same thing? Can they put Black Dragons against the ropes? Can they maybe come in with their own aggression on attack and take out these players and take those opportunities to maybe get a quick plant down? They're going to be playing into hooker and billiards, and I immediately focusing on Perez, on the Malusi, playing around in office. Going to be an important one to clear out.
Yep, and it's all about time. It's not just about the clear out as well. Is Perez can play his life. He can die in office if the attack chooses to come from office side to go for an aqua plant. And I say that it's about the time. When you die with 20 seconds of the round gone, Perez, it's not very good. like that, that it's the top and bottom of it is that you need to be spending so much more time alive as a defender, especially when you're out on the roam, because you just allow the attackers so much more space to play in when it's a 5v4.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I don't know if you'd agree for a Roma. I think 2 minutes is a good benchmark, to say that you need to be wasting, you need to be involved in the round for the first 1.5 to 2 minutes. You need to be pushing them into that final minute before they're comfortable that they've got you cleared out, or at least you need to keep your life so that you're playing back in sight. Live will take the life of VJ in, I don't think we can even call it a trade, it's been that late, but VJ is going to go down after finding that opener. That's the ash off the board. Shocks are well aware that there's a man hard left of his position here. It's live on the mute, I believe, and he's just going to be holding on to that to prevent any repel or any danger coming in from that hooker window for the time being.
Well, once again, seeing a hookah-sided take for the attackers. Now, what you need for hookah is you need sunrise control and you need hookah control. They do not currently have sunrise control, and that's the big worry here. Ion can make a massive play on the window player. He does punch the window, so they know somebody's in sunrise. The double window player could also die to Ion, who's in sunrise. He is vital to this round. If not, Hookah is completely free, and they can walk in, because look at the position of Black Dragons. They've got some high angles, but against a man disadvantage, you can just be traded out from that point of view.
Going to have the Iana clone, the Gemini drone sent in initially to see if they can locate anything. I'm not sure if they're absolutely aware of where that was taken out from, but Shoxo is aware of where Patoxi's playing. He's going to pick one up now. It could all be on Ion here. He's looking to clear off the hooker window, but there's nobody there to be found. There's nobody home. So the Mozzie underneath with the Nitro could prove critical here. Shut down. It's as easy as that. Fresh Wets and Dirty going in with those final kills, just mopping up the round there, and Furious get themselves an advantage once again.
I love that mid-round adaptation there, and I'm not sure if you clocked it there, Ace. So Wets, he was on the balcony, on the hookah balcony, and there was a hookah window player, there was a double window player. They were looking for the plant in hookah very clearly. What Wets did towards that late round is he got off that rappel and he rotated round all the way to service entrance to come kitchen. Now that completely cut Ion, as you just see in the replay there, and it allows, that's cutting one defender out, and you've then got a 3v1 on site. You can trade it through as the plant's going down. A lovely adaptation from Furious there, because Ion was really about to be a big thorn in their side.
And I love to see it. We get, like we said, a team like Furious Gaming coming in. They're pretty new to us. They're from a region that is developing, but look at them. They are fighting toe-to-toe. They're making great siege decisions, rotations, adaptations, mid-round changes, and they are locking rounds out. And you just love to see it, because the better it is, the better the competition becomes, not just for the... I mean, let's be honest, LATAM region doesn't need to get any stronger than it is at the minute. I think the rest of the world is thinking. But as their sub-regions grow in South America, Mexico, it really puts the onus onto those Brazilian teams to keep improving as well, and drags the whole thing forward. It's a rising tide rises all ships, doesn't it? That's the point here, and Furious are just standing toe to toe at the minute with a team that has competed for a number of years inside of the BR6 very, very well.
I'm Furious, obviously they would have gone to Copa Elite 6, but for the cumulative system, because they actually finished first in stage 3. So they are a team on the rise. They've clearly, realized and found out their sub-region. And going into 2020, 2022, should they not obviously hit 6 Invitational 2022, they've still got a good chance. Obviously, they've played in these qualifiers. But should they not, we would expect to be seeing them inside of Copa Elite 6 going forward in 2022.
Oh, it's certainly a name that I think you're going to be seeing again in future big tournaments, and it's certainly one that I'm interested to watch, but I'm still excited for the game. We've got it hand 4-3. Furious have got a lead, and they could well be taking another scalp here. They already took 9Z out of the process. This we know. It could be the potential that they're going to be the ones that take Black Dragons out of the process, because as I said, if Black Dragons lose this game on a 0-point finish, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to even fight towards second place. I honestly think our second place team will be seeing with 5 points plus. Maybe a 4 at a push, but Black Dragons won't even be able to accomplish that at that stage. So Furious, they continue looking for upsets here, but they haven't managed to get themselves established inside of the map too confidently as of yet. There's still 2 players down in Office and in the Sun Corridor that are just proving difficult for them to move here.
They're trying to clear out Office so they can play horizontally, and as you say, there's 2 players. Dirty, he might not be known to the defenders here, just given the way they've started moving around. he might be able to catch one of them on a quick rotate, as we will see Passetto. He's getting active there on the SMG-11, gets a kill onto Yeko, and that's the opening kill. That's nice. It forces Dirty off his original plan, and we're seeing a much more, I would quote-unquote, traditional attack coming out of Furious. They want the verticality above site, above kitchen. The big problem with this, however, though, is that, look at the time, there's a minute left. The verticality is coming out, but what happens is the defenders will naturally just leave site and play horizontally until they can eventually retake when the plant's coming in. So I don't think the verticality is too important here. It's going to rely on shocks. It's going to rely on Dirty to get these kills once they eventually hit the middle floor.
Absolutely, it's going to need those big impact moments from the big impact players, and out goes an impact grenade from VJ, but will not find any target or damage. Going to be clearing out utility potentially along the way. I think he was just looking to clear out the deployable shield by the bomb chassis as well, which is going to allow Dirty to be a little bit more aggressive from that door. And look at that, a double kill comes in from Shockstore as he manages to back up Wets as well. That is a quick turnaround for Furious here, just catching out multiple Black Dragons players all at the same time. Dirty moves quickly into sight to start getting that diffuser down, will be successful, but Toxic taking damage. Surely a matter of seconds here, and that is it. The life is done, the round is done. VJ takes it over the line for Furious, and we are now 5-3 here, and Furious, they really are moving. Longer and don't move. That time is ticking away, and it's forcing Furious to make the move. It's forcing Furious to blink. But look at that. They just cleared out main lobby. Honestly, it was clinical. It was beautiful from Furious.
It really was, and you just got to take the opportunity. Honestly, Shockster, he looked shocked, right? Because that Oryx dash going on, and Black Dragons probably, and they're also going to go to Blue Bar, Sunrise Bar. They're going to go straight off the kitchen. What I potentially, I'm a bit 50-50 because I like teams that constantly rotate through the sites. I think it's good. However, that round was so easily a Black Dragons round on kitchen. With some very small adaptations, i.e. not losing your nerve with 20 seconds to go, you would have won that quite clearly. So I'm not sure if I would have changed site if I was Black Dragons here. Obviously, there was a bit of a timeout there. They had to talk about it. They've decided to change site. They're probably feeling quite under the pump right now.
I would agree with you. I think the thing is, as I said, it's going to be weighing heavily on their minds. They will know that 2 games, when you've only got 3 to play and 2 losses, you're going to need a miracle at that point. I don't
even
know
an overtime win, right? Yeah,
that's it. Even an overtime loss isn't great for them here, but at least it gives them something. At least they can then look to get 4 points as a finish, and then maybe they can be contending with a tiebreaker or something like that against somebody. But 2 losses, you know that your day is pretty much done. So there's a lot of pressure on them now. Backs to the wall, 5-3 down, and they're on what we would consider potentially the weaker side of coastline. We see a lot of success for the attackers. We're seeing it from Furious here, but also it's that confidence that Furious are starting to play with. They're taking their opportunities when they're presented to them, as we saw at the end of the last round. They're coming in, they're getting kills, and you just feel like that's going to continue. VJ's having a great day. He's 8-5 at the minute. He's being backed up by Wets, a name that we haven't shouted too much, and he's 8-3. They are playing some good Siege.
So for Blue Bar, what you tend to see is that verticality want to be established by the attackers, and that shows clear intention here. VJ, he's in the 90 hallway already as the sledge. That's your main source of verticality. I think they've got 1 defender here to clear out of Aqua, or Billy's table. There he is. It's the Aruni. And once Ion's gone, they can start working vertically. It's a complete contrast to what we saw BD do. Obviously, they did that failed rush on the Blue Bar site. So it's all on Ion about how much time, and if he can get a pick here, even better for him.
Easy for VJ, too easy, as Patoxy just exposes himself to that vertical angle, and that is another entry kill for the sledge. Ion is still holding things up here. His position with the Aruna is very, very important. Perez manages to find Gecko just to level things out at 4v4, but as soon as this Aruna is gone, you just feel like things are really going to accelerate for Furious Fresh.
Yeah, and I talk about claustrophobic sites, I've talked about them in Bank. Blue Bar Sunrise, there is literally nowhere to play when you've got a sledge ripping up the floor above you and you've got people on windows outside of sight. Ion, he will do the right thing, actually. He will rotate off, but that's verticality control established by Furious. They've now got about 30 seconds to really start ripping up this floor and then look to push in horizontally.
as we said, we're looking at that 2-minute mark as a threshold for Roma, and Ion has done that beautifully. He's dropped himself back, he's wasted 2/3 of the round, and now he's going to leave himself as a gun on site. And it's up to Furious to start doing something here. They've not really dealt with Perez. I'm not sure they know that he's here. They're just going to walk into a free kill here. I tell you, he's actually moved away. Very fortunate for Wets there that he's decided to push another angle, because I certainly don't think it was about Perez being stood on that exact angle. The floor is being ripped up, but you just feel like Furious are behind the curve in terms of the clock here, Fresh. Bassetto gets the kill onto Shock, so time is ticking away. The sand runs through the hourglass. 7 seconds left to go. The shotgun, Perez, and that is a double from him to finish it off. And it's going to be a better defense from Black Dragons. They come back fighting into this one and keep it within 1 round.
I love the stuck in the mud element there. The Wamai did not want to move. The defenders just did not want to move until they were physically forced to. And look at the yield that it returned.
Well, they've learned the lesson. They've learned the lesson from round 8.
Yes, absolutely.
Where they did move. They did move and they died.
If you don't move, the attackers have got to come to you. They've got to, at the end of the day, the attackers have got to attack the bomb site rather than, as we saw in round 8, they just lurked outside it and just got kills for free. So good all round, good adaptation from BD there. I don't know if it was specifically called or not, obviously, but what happened is, especially the Wamai didn't move. Plenty of opportunity to swing. Wets on the Ying there didn't. And because of that, he was able to secure a gunfight where he was shooting Dirty in the back once he'd pushed down Cool Vibes. Really nice play there.
Moving into round number 10 then, Black Dragon's going to be heading back to Hooker and Billiards. It was a site that they tried to defend back in round 7. They were unsuccessful. Furious managing to get the win. And VJ once again opening us up on the entry. I can tell you, VJ's got 4 opening kills now. 2-1 opening death. So a great ratio for him on the entry so far. He's having a fantastic day. And if that continues, it really does make things difficult for Black Dragons. They need somebody to be stepping up and getting those early kills onto VJ just to take him down, because you know he's going to be the first one in there, fronting him up, just going right up into their faces, trying to get that early advantage for Furious. Right away, he's approaching main door, he's approaching service door, he's looking to get himself inside of the map and make himself a nuisance.
It'll be interesting to see if Furious go for the Hookah side take again, because that's what they went for the first time they attacked Hookah. Of course, we saw Black Dragons, they went for the Billiard side take with Office and Blue Bar, whereas Furious, they went for Hookah side take with Sunrise. And it's about which bit of map control is being given to you, and it's about which bit of map control that is not being given to you that you have to go and take. So the attack's still shaping up, although most of the attackers look like they are going to start congregating on the Hookah side. One thing I will say, one adaptation from BD, if it does happen, they need to really fight for Sunrise, because if they fight for Sunrise, they can use C4, they've got the vertical up to sight, and most importantly, they can peek the double window player and the Hookah window player.
VJ just checking there that his path is clear on the, at least on the immediate corners inside of the door, just allowing him to step out and challenge onto that deployable shield for the time being. He's got nades in hand, so there is the potential there for him to be able to clear out that utility as well. But as you can see, he's just very interested about exactly what's going on inside of the Hooker site there, just to make sure there's not going to be anybody peeking that door on him or making any sort of challenge. Dirty getting aggressive in towards VIP, and Furious just looking to get that map control that they need inside here, and maybe something that they didn't do well enough last time around, but now the focus comes in. Interesting, repelling through double window there, going to be cut down by Perez, just really cutting them down now. Patoxy finds one, Yeko manages to trade that one out late, but we're 4 versus 3 already.
I'm not a fan of this, because the diffuser's just lost deep inside. The Ying was a good idea, apart from, I think only one went off, and the player in the bar, that area there, wasn't flashed, and we managed to get the kill. As Patoxy does also get one, Dirty gets one back onto Basetta. A 3v2 is coming out, and it's going to be very hard to win out from here.
Really not sure about that repelling. We'll see as the round goes. It's easy to criticise. Sometimes you've got to take the risk, but Patoxy takes a risk himself on the run out. Ion shuts it down, and as you say, Fresh, just dumping the diffuser down in the middle of sight like that. It's, you know, we saw Black Dragons able to get in there and get quick plants, but it just felt a little bit more controlled. That one felt like a Hail Mary to me. That was just, there might be an opportunity here. Yeah, let's go for it. You know, but with the man behind bar, it was always going to be very, very tough to pull off.
There's path of least resistance siege, which a lot of casters will talk about, a lot of teams will talk about, which is you take the absolute minimum map control that you need. But that was path of the absolute least resistance because they only took Aqua and they tried to repel in. I think they actually tried to repel in the window before they took Aqua there. And they were trying to use Ying as a tool to do it, to blind the defenders, and then therefore just take sight, nothing else on the map. And obviously it didn't work because the Ying is good, but obviously if there's people that potentially the Vase player was not blinded. The Bar player was not blinded by the Yings because they can hide behind the cover when the Ying Candela's going off, can then swing around and kill the Ying. That's diffuser dropped in sight, and should we call that a misinformed attack, Ace, I think? Possibly?
Yeah, I feel like there was just not a clear enough picture available for Furious to be going in and doing that. I think, you know, like you say, you've got to have a very clear idea of exactly who is where when you're going to say, right, there's an opportunity, there's one on site, let's get in and do it. You've got to be very clear about that. And I just don't think Furious maybe had enough information there. I mean, you know, props to them. They gave it a chance. They threw the Candelas. You know, you hope for the best, but it just didn't pan out for them. We're going to be heading back into Kitchen as a defense. We're going to see all 12 fresh as we go to 5-5 on the scoreboard. It's as if it's unusual for me, as if I expect anything else. We're going to see every single round of this one in regulation as Black Dragons, they've managed to just dig their heels in a little bit here on defense, got themselves 2 consecutive rounds in 9 and 10, and all of a sudden Furious look like they left scratching their heads, and not too many ideas are coming forward at the minute.
And it's actually a similar story to the first game that we actually casted today, in that the team with the bit more experience is just finding a way to just dig in and grit in and find a way to win rounds, even when they're not necessarily performing as the best team in the server. And that's what we've seen out of Black Dragons today. More or less in most of the rounds they've lost, they've been significantly outclassed, but they've also found a way to win a few rounds there. Maybe due to Furious's inexperience and just maybe due to finding a way to win.
That Rotero drone there just used pretty much for intel, I think. Not really clearing anything out, not gaining any sort of utility burning or anything else. VJ once again on the entry, though, going to find Patoxe and giving Furious that advantage. Is that the advantage that they need to be able to get themselves onto a match point here? Wets, he doubles down. It's all VJ and Wets as he finds Perez, and that's going to leave us now in a 5 versus 3 at the mid-round. And we can see Live here just looking for the challenge onto the door. He finds his man, and he manages to down Wets, finish him off with a headshot, and that is going to be the diffuser down as well. Should be easy to collect, but Live, he collects Yeko, puts him in his pocket, and that is going to be 3 versus 3 as Live has gone big in the mid-round.
This round was absolutely done and dusted, but for Live going big in the mid-round, although Dirty finds one back on site, they know there can only be possibly one player on site. There's no players on site, as Ion's actually off site. Live, he's going to challenge onto VJ, finds one, got a triple kill on the round, but that site completely clear. Shoxo is pushed in, as has Dirty, and they need to try and get the diffuser down. Live's got another insane angle. He knows every single angle going on Coastline right now, and it's just about who blinks first right now, Ace.
He really does. He's showing that he is the king of Coastline here. There is the potential for an ace. He's low health. He does find his 4th. He needs one more, and it's going to be Dirty that he's looking for. Ion, I'm sure, will take the shot if he gets the opportunity. It is not the time to be chasing the big numbers here. It's a time to get the wins on the board. This is SI 2022 that is on the line potentially. Dirty goes in, manages to start getting the diffuser down inside of service. Live knows exactly where he is. Surely this is the ace. He's going to dip around. He's looking to find his man, but the challenge comes in. Dirty looking both ways. Cannot get him. It's Live with the ace. Going to be a 2 versus 1 success for Black Dragons. And that's Furious. They're taking a big hit after that one fresh.
Oh, and it's once again, it's a team with a little bit of experience. You know, we've seen Live, he's got a lot of experience internationally and finds a way to win the round. 3-5 here. He's got to get froggy. Finds 1, finds 2. He finds them all. He got an ace. But just the manner in which he was moving around the map and the positions that he found the ace, he got 1 outside main door, 1 in office, 1 in sunrise, and then 2 inside of site. Really nice play. And he single-handedly just saved his team and guaranteed them minimum a point, but also stopped them from potentially losing 7-5. If they'd lost that, they'd have been facing 6-5 down now going into this final round.
As you say, very important moment for Live to come through and grab an ace like that. Black Dragons, you just felt maybe needed that. They needed a hero player. They needed somebody to step up and just grab that one by the scruff of the neck. As you say, it guarantees them a point, which looking towards the rest of the group stage, the rest of the day, it puts them in a better position. As we've said, we've got Akave at the minute that are sort of taking the lead with things. They've got 5 points on the board and another game to come. So you would have to argue they're in a strong spot to be fighting towards the number 1 now. So second place, we're going to be looking at maybe a team finishing on 4 or 5 points, I think, that takes that second place spot to go through to the knockout stages. Black Dragons can now achieve that 4 points. That's what was particularly important. They can achieve more here. If they can get this round, they get 3 on the board, and all of a sudden they go from looking like, you know, they were 5-3 down and looking like they might be out of here fresh, and now all of a sudden they could take a full 3 and they're right back in it. Then there's the potential even for the top spot in reach.
They would be coming, if they win this 7-5, they'll come off the server. They'll go back to, you know, their practice room or wherever they're staying before the next game, and they'll be like, whew, how have we got away with that one? So, you know, it's been a slog for them. It's been a real struggle. And they've just got to defend out one more round for it, just one more round. But VJ, if he's got anything to say about it, it will be him getting himself in an early engagement. And we've seen that can be crucial so far in this game.
We've seen, you know, 5 entries from him so far. He's proved his ability to get in there and to, you know, light a fire under the round, get things going for his team and to give them the advantage. The problem is for Furious, they've not been able quite often to really double down on that and to be able to do the work that they need to do to get the round over the line and get it in the bucket. It's a bit of sort of a problem clinching them rather than setting them up. It's sort of not knocking them out of the park. Now we can see that the droning is going on. They're going to be aware of the man over on the security side of things, but there's going to be a bit of pressure vertically as well as Basetto just opens up some of the floor to get an angle from theatre on to main lobby door. VJ has got himself established inside of the courtyard for the time being, so he's in a potential position to cut off any rotations that might come around. I think he's aware of Perez's location, or at least that he's somewhere over that side of the map.
Oh, the Ash just
thinking about the vertical nade, but the Ash just, as you say, got in the way there.
Oh, and it's siege timing. Dirty doesn't walk in, and that means Basetto's dead there. But luckily, VJ puts the nade away. Ash saving the alibi's life. How often do you say that inside the siege? We've got a little bit of lobby control. Dirty's managed to walk his way up the white stairs here. If he can manage to get a kill, he might open up this absolutely whole round here.
Basetto manages to get the opener onto Yeko there. Nice advantage for Black Dragons. And let's not forget, they win this round, they win the match, they take 3 points. And you just feel on the defense with a man advantage, with a double man advantage as Basetto finds Dirty. This is going to be for Black Dragons to lose now fresh. VJ's taken half health damage as well. And it's starting to slip away from Furious. But Wets, as he has throughout the game, he manages to get a grip on things and gets a kill onto Ion. Now leaving us in a 4 versus 3. 35 seconds left to go, and this one is poised on a knife edge as to whether we go to overtime or whether Black Dragons can secure all 3. I don't think Basetto's quite aware of the man prone into his left. He's keeping an eye on luggage, but they could be. There you go. There's the ping as he steps through that alibi decoy, and that's just going to let Basetto know exactly what's going on, and it's a freebie onto the honor and a second. What a pair from Basetto to close that one out. That's going to be Black Dragons taking the round, taking the map, and taking the full 3 points.
They found a way, Ace, and Basetto with a massive round just allowed to play in the back of theatre and actually get moving on his feet. He was allowed to run out into the hallway, especially with a breach and a person playing the rappel.